I'm going to go over today with you guys exact trading strategies step by step that I use today to make AR, taking 2 winners, 1 break even, and 1 losing trade. So let's get straight into the video. First and foremost, these trades were taken on NQ during a session which a lot of people deem as low probability. However, that is just completely not true. From my experience trading NQ, at least, especially a lot more during ADA session compared to ES, which moves a lot more slower. NQ still moves nicely during Asia. I'll probably avoid it during London more, but during Asia it still moves nicely, as you can see. Like, this is a pretty damn big move, I'm not gonna lie, for ADA session on NQ, right? 2%, yeah, that is nutty. But anyway, to do a quick little preface before today's video, I think I recorded a previous video talking about the I don't know why TradingView is glitching like this. It looks kind of weird. I made a previous video doing a Tradeify road to payout video, right? And I think actually the day 1 trades I took on the screenshot were from these trades here and not the 18RR trade here. I believe these were trades I took on my personal account. I'll have to check that later, but just want to preface that and clear things up. Again, I can check my dashboard later and I'll be able to probably figure out whether it was the 18RR trade or these trades I'm covering in today's video. But regardless, you guys will learn from today's video the strategy and what I was looking at and what was going through my mind when I was taking these trades. So let's go straight into the video. So I'm going to delete this here so it doesn't glitch anymore. So first off, I was taking a stop hunter setup here. Again, I've gone over this setup so many times on my channel now that it gets very repetitive. But essentially, you're looking for a high internally that makes a new internal low, or vice versa if you're trying to long. And I basically took my limit order at this high here because there's 2 highs here, right? And ultimately covering this, I believe we could try covering this high here as well. You can even cover prior to PY, but you can clearly tell this trade instantly did not work out. I instantly got stopped out, and I was trying to target the next low here. And yeah, took a -1 very quickly here, but that's okay, right? Because I was still bearish. Because if you look at structure here, I mean, this is like more so common sense. There's not much you really need to read on this. Price is going to the bottom right of my screen, we're bearish. If it's going to the top right, we're bullish. That's the most simplistic way to explain market structure and trend to someone that's new to trading. Now, the next setup I was looking for was, we have this PY here, okay? So I marked out this PY, and I was looking for another entry model basically to go to the downside here. So if I go in replay mode here real quick, using my indicator. If you want access to my indicator, by the way, to all 7 here, you click the link down below, and there's tons of settings, but use the default ones I do provide to you guys. And basically this setup here, I took this IFVG setup for 2RR. Now I entered a little bit later on this trade. I should have entered on this candle here for 4RR actually, as you can see, because that's when the inverse, but I got in a little late. So I entered here on the second inversion or second candle here instead of the first initial one. So cut my upside honestly by half, but that's okay. My stop loss is covering basically, this right here, okay? And yeah, basically TP was at the next low because it's a weak low, we're bearish. And I covered a bit past the low just to squeeze out a little bit more RR, knowing that this is pro trend. We're likely to get at least a bigger move to downside. As you can see, like whenever we're trending heavily, we tend to go a bit past the low, okay? In this case, I mean, we went way past the low, right? Sometimes we don't, but usually they're very small pullbacks that you don't have to worry too much about. You see, went quite past the low here, went quite past the low by a lot here. So yeah, I try to target a bit past the low here, since we're trending so heavily to the downside because of fundamentals going on with everything happening around the world. So yeah, 2RR there, and that was basically my trade there. Nothing out the ordinary or special, to be honest. Just using my indicator of both PY and IFVG, and took that for 2RR and TP there. Now next setup was a very nice 6RR trade, okay? If we play this out here real quick to where price was supposed to be, let me even switch to a higher time frame, probably quicker. Okay. So for this trade here, let me go back and replay here. Okay, so basically here, what happened was we made a failed breaker structure. This should be bringing us higher, and I got on the charts I believe that by the time we took out this low. Okay, so it's on the charts when we took out this low, and that's why I marked this as failed break structure. Keep that in mind. Just because price came back, so structure here, first of all, is looking like this. We have a high, made a new low, we made a new high, which is very important. So this low is very important. This low is also very important because this low has to make a new high. So it failed to make a new high here, which is the first sign of failure, but that doesn't make it a confirmed failed break structure yet. We confirmed this failed break structure when the low that failed to make a new high gets taken out. So when this low gets taken out here, that's when I confirm it's a failed break structure. Why? Well, because this low should be holding for a mitigation cycle like this. This is something that could happen in the market, but I noticed from my data collection and experience backtesting, whenever we do take out this low here, we're more than likely going bearish instead of bullish. So that's when we confirmed the failed break structure after taking out that low that failed to make a new high. And what does this make this now? Instead of this being a normal liquidity sweep, now this becomes a very low probability liquidity sweep, and actually a reversal in the market because of what happened here with this low and high. So I basically took advantage of that and used my stop hunter setup, which you guys see pretty often in my videos. There's my limit order there. I'll mark it here for you guys to see. Stop loss, I can't cover this high here. The wick is just way too far. The R is not great. Again, I should be able to get 3 RR usually at the next internal low based on my backtesting data. That's the most ideal situation for the setup. So yeah, I basically put my stop loss covering the body of this here. Usually I don't use candle bodies, to be honest, but in this situation, it's a bit more unique and I have to figure things out with stop loss placement. And also we have another high here that you should probably cover anyway. So most important part here is cover at least probably this other high as well. Never have your stop loss set at equal highs or lows. It's just, you're just gonna get stopped out, especially on something like ES where there's less increments. It's more likely to happen. So we can play it straight out, but it went towards my TP at some point. Again, my TP was basically at this next PY here, right here. We have a lot of imbalance here also, right below, like a ton of imbalance. And if you go into switch time frames, you can see the imbalance is more clearly. There's a 15-minute PY there. There's a 5-minute down here, and the 30-minute is very high up in the leg, like up here. So I probably wouldn't be using that. But yeah, basically TP there for 6RR, 6.5, and that was a great trade. Ultimately ran, a bit more than I expected, but that's okay. Hit the 15 minutes finally, and I believe I was looking for another short here. So let's see what happened here. I missed my entry here. I was looking for an OB retracement, to be honest there, and we never got it. So we hit the origin here that I was looking to short from. We never came back here for a retracement. I was looking for a move like this. We never got it. We did get an IFG using my entry or using my indicator, but I didn't take it. The R was not the best. And honestly, 2R is 2R at the end of the day, but I was waiting for a retracement and I missed the entry. Now I was able to get a re-entry here because price came back to 50% of this range, mitigating this PY that I marked out, and we had an impulse model. We impulse, and the range is very small. It's only 7 candles, so this is a great time to use impulse model. And so I used impulse model here, entered on the candle basically break. All right, candle break, and my stop loss or TP was at the next low. Now, very unfortunate in this case. Very sad, but ES took out that low. And that's what we call SMT, when one asset takes out a higher low and the other one does not. And the assets are correlated. So because of that, obviously I wouldn't have to go break even anyway here. There's no reason for price to come back here. Like, everything here is fully mitigated. This should hold here if you want to go lower off this internal sweep. Since that did not hold, I could have trailed my stop loss, honestly, to maybe juice out 1 RR, but I like to stick to a system where it's more concrete and straightforward, either taking a full TP, break even, or -1. I don't usually like taking half losses, trailing too much. So yeah, end up hitting my break even. If you want to read my notes here, I was basically trying to say, when price was pulling back from this PY here, we didn't have any PY here, so I was a little scared when I saw this big, massive momentum pullback here. But we have this internal sweep. That's why I said no PY aside from internal sweep. So this stop 100 here ultimately held, and we had a manipulation above that too. So yeah, ultimately that did hold for me, and it was only when we got this basically mitigation here that I could easily go break even, knowing that, okay, my break even point makes sense because it's up here holding and protecting me from, there's no other PY basically protecting me from my break even. And I did not set an alert on ES. I should have when ES took out the slow. I did not. I was actually a lot more confident that we'd go lower, back to 50% down here. Considering we were still bearish here, that's what I was looking for. But obviously that did not hold, and that basically ended my session here, because knowing that if we're not going lower from here, we're probably gonna go higher, right? Because there's no reason for us to, fail like structure here, like take out these highs. I don't see any reason for us to do that. We should be following the trend, break, pull back, break, right? We did have that break on ES, sure, but this move here doesn't make sense. So yeah, you can clearly see we later, I think, took out the high here, and that was basically my session. So again, if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like down below. If you want to join the course or mentorship, one spot remaining left, link is down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.